So, you want to be a master of the elements. So, you want to be a master of some elements? Okay, so if you want to be a master of one singular element, then the Frost Mage is for you. For the basics, the Frost Mage class in Blue Protocol Star Residence has two class resources that it has to manage: Ice Energy, indicated by this white bar, and Frost Crystals, indicated by the snowflake icons underneath that bar. You regenerate 2 Ice Energy every second, and can generate Frost Crystals through the usage of specific skills and talents. Speaking of skills, first up we have the left mouse button attack Rainfall Surge. One of your early talents causes this attack string to summon 2 ice cores that have a chance to fire alongside the left mouse button attack. If they do fire, they generate 1 Frost Crystal. Next we have the special skill Frost Lance. This skill costs 10 ice energy and has a 1.4 second channel time. However, you can consume 1 Frost Crystal to completely skip that channel time and increase the damage. This special skill is tied to the Icicle Spec. For the other special skill, we have Frost Beam. This skill consumes 15 ice energy to begin firing an ice beam. The beam will continue to consume 12 ice energy every 0.3 seconds to continuously extend the duration of the skill and increasingly ramp up the damage until you run out of ice energy. This skill is tied to the Frostbeam Spec. For the ultimate skill, we have Glacier Hymn. This skill creates an ice field that damages enemies, restores 220 ice energy, and increases the ice damage taken by enemies by 20% for 10 seconds. Moving on to the expertise skills, we have Meteor Storm. This skill consumes 5 ice energy and has 2 charges. However, an unlockable talent can cause this skill to enter a burst window where it can be cast without cooldown for a short period. Next we have Crystal Veil. This skill has 2 charges and it fires a slow-moving orb that generates up to 4 Frost Crystals. As such, this is one of your main Frost Crystal generators. For the next skill we have Blizzard. This skill costs 20 ice energy and has a 3-second channel time to hit for a large chunk of AoE damage. This lengthy channel time can eventually be bypassed through an unlockable talent on the talent tree. Next we have Maelstrom. This skill creates an AoE damage over time field that also regenerates 2 ice energy per enemy hit up to a max of 10 ice energy per hit. Next is the skill Frozen Gale. You can charge this skill for 1, 2, or 3 seconds for higher damage. However, that charge time can be bypassed if you have Frost Crystals for the skill to consume. Next we have the skill Tide Pool. This skill has you creating a damage over time field while you channel for 5 seconds. However, an unlockable talent can allow you to cast this skill with no channel time while you're using Frost Beam. Lastly, we have the buff Permafrost. This skill greatly increases your haste and causes you to generate 6 ice energy per second. Moving on to the specializations, first up we have the Icicle Spec. The Icicle Spec has a nice mix of consistent and burst damage. Its goal is to build up and spend Frost Crystals to instant cast Frost Lances, and spending those Frost Crystals also empowers its other equipped skills. For the substats, this spec will want to focus on crit first and then a mix of luck and mastery, and for the expertise skills, you'll want Meteor Storm, Crystal Veil, Blizzard, and Permafrost. Moving on to the rotation, the goal is to build and spend as many Frost Crystals as possible within the Glacier Hymn and Permafrost buff window. As such, you want to get yourself to maximum Frost Crystals with Crystal Veil, Meteor Storm, and your left mouse button attack. Once you're there, pop Permafrost and your ult and start using insta-cast Frost Lances. Make sure to only use Frost Lance when you have at least 1 Frost Crystal. As you're casting, you'll weave in Meteor Storms and Crystal Veils to upkeep the Frost Crystals, making sure to pop your Empowered Blizzard and then Empowered Meteor Storm once you reach those thresholds. Once you put it all together, the rotation in practice will look something like this. Again, you'll want to focus on maintaining Frost Crystals in order to continue to cast Frost Lance, which will in turn empower your Meteor Storm and Blizzard skills. Moving on to the other specialization, we have the Frostbeam Spec. This spec is a bit of a burst damage dealer that wants to max out its ice energy and then cast all of its skills to maximize the Frostbeam damage and uptime. For the substats, you'll want crit and mastery, and for the expertise skills, you'll want Maelstrom, Frozen Gale, Tide Pool, and Permafrost. The rotation is relatively simple. First, you'll want to max out your Frost Crystals by using Frostbeam. From there, you'll use Maelstrom and Frozen Gale to empty your Frost Crystals. Lastly, you'll pop your ultimate and Permafrost and start unloading your Frostbeam, making sure to use Tide Pool during Frostbeam to maximize the damage. Putting it all together, the rotation will look something like this. Again, make sure to pop your buffs and have Maelstrom going in order to give yourself the most uptime on your Frostbeam skill. And lastly, don't forget to pop Tide Pool during Frostbeam to get the most damage you can in your burst window. Moving on to the Imagines, the Frost Mage Imagines are also relatively simple. Muku Chief provides crit for both specs, while the Phantom Arachnocrab provides mastery to both specs. Now for the talents, the Frost Mage has some pretty powerful options, so I'll highlight some key ones you should grab. First up for the Icicle Spec, at the top of the tree we have Deadly Frost Lance, Endless Cold, Glazed Vastness, and Deep Cold Magic Spear. Then, at the bottom of the tree we have Infusion Sublimation, Freezing Meteor Storm, Frost Lance Barrage, and Meteor Storm Expansion. Moving on to the Frostbeam Spec, at the top of the tree we have Frost Tide, Frost Domain, Ice Crystal Expansion, and Intellect Ice Crystal. Then, at the bottom of the tree we have Sharp Ice Arrow, Law of Energy Surge, Intellect Amp, and Wide Area Ice Arrow. And that wraps it up for today's walkthrough of the Frost Mage class. Thank you so much for watching, subscribe to keep up with the next video, and let me know in the comments what games you guys are playing while you wait for the full release. Most importantly, have a blessed day.